Hi, good afternoon. This is Brian Begley with nCloud9, and we are here to go our monthly webinar. And this month's our topic is using flows to supercharge your Dynamics 365 sales. We're going to go through 3 different flows, and you may be seeing my screen. Let me bring up my screen here so you can see it. Okay. So I'm going to be showing you my little PowerPoint slideshow that I have here. So let me get started on that. So our topic today, 3 flows to supercharge your sales. A little bit about nCloud9 and Dynamics365support.com, where Dynamics 365 partners have been in the business of working with Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform for about 15 years now. And we work with small to mid-sized companies throughout the United States on getting their best usage of Dynamics 365. The topic today that we have is called Power Automate. And Power Automate was released about 4 years ago by Microsoft under the name Flow. So in about December of 2019, Microsoft changed the name, as they like to do, from Flow to Power Automate. However, the workflows you build in Flow are still called flows. So you'll still hear the name Flow used a lot. And so don't feel bad if you call it a flow. I'll probably call it a flow, but I'll also probably try to use the term Power Automate. So what Power Automate is a tool from Microsoft that's part of the Power Platform that's designed to allow you to integrate applications in many ways. So if you look at this screen that we're looking at here, this is just a small list of the hundreds of connectors available from Microsoft, but it allows you to integrate applications. So for example, just looking at this list here, you could use the Twitter flow trigger to say if a tweet comes out with a specific hashtag, add that to an Excel spreadsheet, because we want to track people out on the internet using our hashtags that we might use. Or if a task is created for me in Dynamics 365, add it to Microsoft Planner or add it to a list in SharePoint. So there's lots you can do with Power Automate. It's a very powerful tool. And over the last 6 months at nCloud9, we've started using it more and more for our clients. We're used to using the traditional CRM workflows. So if you have experience with Dynamics 365, I'm sure at some point you've built a workflow to send an email notification or to update a record, or even create a new record. Well, Microsoft hasn't officially announced anything about removing standard CRM workflows from the application. I think they would have a little bit of a rebellion on their hands if they did. But while you can continue to use standard CRM out-of-box workflows, you can start using Power Automate to do a lot more than just what you can do with those workflows. And so, for example, we've had some clients, and we're going to be demoing this as part of our the webinar, ask us to build a flow that says when I would like to be able to send a email or a text message to a contact. So we built an integration between the contact entity and an external service that handles SMS messaging called Twilio. And we built this application, and now our clients can send, and they can also receive messages from their clients via SMS. It can also be used to synchronize data between systems. So, for example, if you have you're doing your accounting in Acumatica, you can have a flow created that says when a sale happens in Dynamics 365, create a new account record in Acumatica if it doesn't already exist. You could also use Flow or Power Automate for approvals, notifications, gather information out from the web, update records in CRM. It's just, there's really hundreds of, thousands of things you can do using Power Automate. So we're going to go right into our first flow. And this is a fairly simple one. And you don't need to actually build this flow because Microsoft's already built it for you. You just need to add it into your environment. The first flow is a weekly email of one opportunity. So I'm a sales manager. I want to know every week how much has been my sales for the past week. So we have a flow and that can do that for you. Microsoft is giving this flow away, and we're going to show you how to get that. You can just go to the flow website and you can add this to your environment. But basically what this flow does is there's a recurrence. It says every 7 days, get the last 7 days worth of opportunities, get a list of those opportunities that were won in Dynamics 365, and then create an HTML table. This is the table right here. So you're seeing it. We say add 4 columns, created on, close date, the name of the opportunity, and the revenue. And then we're saying send that flow, send that table out to whomever. It could be the manager of each user. It could be each salesperson gets their own email with their wins for the week. It depends on how you want to build that. So this flow, and I'm going to show you how to use it right now, is free from Microsoft. So let me show you where you would go to get that. So give me a second while I bring up my other browser. Okay, so I'm opening up my browser here, and I'm going to start, we're going to go to us.flow.microsoft.com. This is the home page on the web for Microsoft Flow and Power Automate. So from this home page, there's a couple of things here. There's a bunch of collections. And so you can look at these collections and get pre-built flows. And so I'm going to grab one here called 11 templates to help your sales team. So on here, we have a couple of flows. Here's a weekly summary of new Dynamics opportunities. We see an announcement about opportunity wins in Dynamics. There's a couple of others that are related to Salesforce. Any one of these flows can be modified to fit your needs. So once you start using them, you can change them. So if you wanted to start using this flow that says receive an announcement about opportunity wins from Dynamics 365, all you need to do is click on the add button. And then it'll say, in which environment do you want to add this to? You want to add this to your, for example, into our demo. All I need to do is pretty much click continue. I might have to make a few changes here and there. So if I click continue, it's going to add this flow into my environment, already built for me. I have to go in and fill in the name of my organization, and that's pretty much it. At this point, it's going to send out the email that I've requested. I could add somebody here to say if I want to send it to a specific person, I could add somebody's email address in the to field of the email. But as we walk through this, all this workflow does is it says at 9 o'clock every 7 days, get the last 7 days worth of opportunities from the nCloud9 demo environment. And then we're also have a filter in there that says where the actual close date was in the last 7 days and the status of the opportunity is 3, and status 3 means 1. Then we create a table of that data. We get our Office 365 profile, and then we send that email out. So every Wednesday, I'm going to get an email that looks like this in my Outlook mailbox. And it says, hey, Brian. And you can make modifications to this. You can change the formatting of the table so it looks a little bit prettier. But basically, this will just run in the background until I tell it not to run anymore. So I found this to be a very useful flow for me as I manage my team to see what opportunities have been closed that I may not know about. And it's just a very useful little tool here. So that's the first flow. And once again, this is a flow that requires very little talent to develop because Microsoft's already done all the work for you. You download it into your environment. You might make a change here or there to say which organization. And then once you save it, it should just work. Our next flow, I'm going to bring this up here, is a opportunity approval flow. And I am going to just bring this up here. So a lot of times when a sale is closed for a client, there might be some information that you need to have certain people do some approvals. You might want to have them approve the credit limit on the client. You might want to approve a discount that you offered to your customer. You might want to just do some other approvals. Is this a client that we want to work with? So an approval flow does one thing. So it's triggered when something happens. So we're looking at this flow. In this case, it says when an opportunity is won in the opportunity entity, if the status equals 1. If that value equals yes, we send an approval email message to the sales manager. And it says approve a new opportunity win, and we put the topic in there. We put the opportunity topic in the body of the email that will be sent to the sales manager and the actual revenue. We could put other information as well. So what happens is automatically every time an opportunity is won, or whatever your trigger is, you're going to get the sales manager is going to get a approval message. And there's a couple ways they can get this. They can receive this approval message in an email. They can send that, they can approve it via a mobile app. There's a mobile Power Automate app that you can use that will allow you to approve your messages, or you can go into the Power app, the flow for Power Automate itself. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to switch over here, and we're back in Power Automate again. And this is another flow, and it says flows. And if I, wrong place, start a deal approval, and I click edit. And it's once again, pretty straightforward flow. I say when a record is updated in my organization, if the opportunity is won, then get my Office 365 profile and send out an email that looks like this. So you could use this in a lot of different situations. You just have to modify it to fit your needs. This also can be easily downloaded from the templates in Power Automate. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. So now what happens, one of our users completes a sale. I'm going to go to my actions area, and under actions area, I can see all the approvals that I as a sales manager need to approve. So I can say, this shows me my approvals that I've received. So I could then look at this, and I could say, choose my response. I could either approve it, I could reject it, or I could reassign this approval to someone else because maybe I'm not the right person to do the approval. In this case, I'm going to approve this. I could add some comments. And an email will be sent out to the salesperson, letting them know that the opportunity has been approved. Your approval workflow can then do things inside of CRM. So for example, you could update a record in CRM. You could send email notification to the clients and track them in CRM. So once you've got that approval, other actions can happen. We don't have any actions in this particular approval. We've kept it very simple, but that's all there is to that. Okay, so let's keep going here. That's the approval flow. I'm going to show you my next flow. And this is the one that we did for a client recently. And it allows us to use Dynamics 365 to send text messages to contacts. So it's a pretty straightforward flow. This one is actually probably one of the easiest to build once you know what you're doing. It says, we created a custom activity record in CRM called SMS messages. And we have it set so that when an SMS record is created in CRM, we are going to basically use Flow's integration with Twilio, which is a text messaging service, to send a text to that person from our phone number. And so it'll send it to the phone number in the activity record, and it'll send the body of the message out as well. Let me demo that one for you from our demo environment. So I'm going to go into Power Apps, and I'm going to go to a contact, and it's going to be me. And I have a phone number in the contact record. So that's always good to have, because if I do that and I now go to my timeline and I go to SMS messages and I type my message, okay, I create a message. I have the phone number automatically mapped from the contact record for the customer. If you can create text messages from other records like cases, other records as well. But there's a little bit of programming then to get the phone number here. So you might have to manually type it in if it's not in the record that you're sending it from. But now I'm going to click Save and Close. And in the background, that text message has gone out. I'm going to bring up my cell phone here. And hang on just a second while I do that. And you should see my cell phone now. And you'll see here's that text that just came in. This is Bob, call us about your refinance offer. Now we've added on to this text messaging tool. We haven't quite finished it yet, but it's a little bit more difficult to actually say, bring in responses. So I'm going to say, thanks, give me a day or two. Let's just fix that. So right now I can send that text message. I just sent that out. We do have it built so that text messages are coming in. What we haven't done yet is set it so that automatically finds the phone number that it came in from and applies that so it'll show up in the time in that contact's timeline. But if we go to SMS messages over here, you'll see that text message just came in. So I responded to him. It came from my phone number, and the body of it was, thanks, give me a day or two. So we would just use another flow that would say, look for any contact that has the phone number 402-598-0927, and then we would track that against that contact that has that phone number. So we'd be able to see that. We're working on that now. We didn't get it done in time for our demo, but this is something that you could build in your own CRM, or you could work with us to help you build that out. So I've shown you just now 3 different flows that we've built in Microsoft Dynamics that help us with our sales. One was a flow to notify me about new won opportunities every week. The next one was about sending approval notices to management. And the third was being able to communicate with my customers via SMS messages. If you want to learn a lot more, there's a lot of resources out there, and we'll be sending you a copy of our PowerPoint. But I want to show you that Microsoft has a whole class that any customer can take for free. And so there's a URL in our PowerPoint that allows you to go to the Microsoft Learn page. And from here, you can learn all about the Power Platform, which is Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI. And so I can sign up here, for example, to take a 3-hour class that's at a beginner level on how to build business processes using Power Automate. There's a lot of other really good classes. There's another one here that has 15 units that's build more complex flows with Power Automate. So I'd recommend, if it's something you want to learn more about, check out our document, the Power, saying Power too many times here today. PowerPoint, the PowerPoint you'll be receiving, because it will have this this URL, and then it will have some other URLs that are really useful when it comes to working with Power Apps. So that's all I really wanted to work through today. Is there any questions that anyone might have? If you have any, feel free to put them in the question box. Okay, so I'm not seeing any questions. So thank you very much for spending your time with us today. You should be getting an email shortly with a link to our PowerPoint and a link to our recording. We'll be doing another webinar March 20th of 20th of March. The topic is going to be on the next update happening with Dynamics 365. You should be expecting that to happen in the April timeframe. So we're going to be going through some of the best features that you'll see in the April 2020 update. I see a question from Tiffany here. Are you able to pull data from a Word document using Power Automate to update records in Dynamics CRM? That is a good question. I know that there are some Power, let's go look at the Power Apps connectors, because I know that there have been a connector or two that is about scraping data from documents. So for example, scraping data from websites, scraping data from other documents. You might want to look at the list here and see if there's any that will do that for you. We could always, if you wanted to reach out to us, we could maybe look through that with you and get a better feel for exactly what you're looking to do. But I do believe that there is one of these connectors here that will allow you to do data scraping. Okay. Any other questions today? Well, thank you very much for your time. Once again, we'll send you the follow-up documents and we'll get you out an invitation to our April 2020 release webinar. It's going to be really got some good new features coming up in the next version. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.